And we're back with another episode of Lakers Latest. I'm Gerald Glassford, the host of the Lakers Latest podcast, part of the Fan Arc Network. Right there, there's that Fan Arc. Woohoo! There you go. If you like and subscribe, it is immensely and greatly appreciated if you like what I do on a regular basis right here at Lakers Latest. But my good friends, the Fan Arc Network, the guys who upload and run this channel, please go ahead and show them love by liking and subscribing on their main channel as well, because they have a ton of shows featuring a ton of sports teams. I'm sure you'll find something else like my show right here that you'll like and enjoy. And if you do, go ahead and like and subscribe to get that latest notifications. Like whenever the latest episode of Lakers Latest gets dropped, you'll also get that latest notification on when those shows on the Fan Arc Network drop as well. Well, the Lakers are going to be heading into the crypt one more time as they face off on Tuesday night against the Magic. We'll go ahead and talk about that here in a sec. But I wanted to get to something right off the bat. It's been a lot of talk, especially after a very stinging loss to the Celtics on Sunday. Been brought up about the vaunted big three, LeBron James, Austin Reeves, and Luka Doncic, about how effective they are together. I know they talked about at practice how they still haven't worked out all the kinks yet, that how they've not been able to go ahead and find that happy place as far as where they're working at. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but they agreed that they haven't been able to go ahead and mesh 100% well yet. And I've heard it with the fans. I've heard it from you guys. I've heard it on my other channel. I've heard how this big three is not gelling, and we've had better times with a two of that three combination for the most part as far as the record's concerned. But when it comes to big teams, whether it's just two or three, any combination of those, when we're playing teams above 600, I think Jovan Buha threw out a stat out there that said the Lakers this year, when they're facing off against top teams in the NBA, they only have 4 wins. I believe 4-11 against teams with a 600 percentage or higher. So that's not good. In fact, the first two were three. Their first 3 wins were coming in the first 2 weeks of the season against those teams. Minnesota twice and San Antonio once. And there's only been one more win against a 600 percentage team or better since then. And the top 3, the big 3 together, have not beaten a top 10 team in the NBA so far together. So that's very concerning. And I know that they've always talked about how if they're all playing and meshing well, that they think that their playmaking skills would be really advantageous for them. But yeah, right now it's just not working. And I know a lot of vitriol is being thrown out there by many members and many fans and many followers about LeBron and just, a lot of vitriol, and a lot of it's justified. I'm not going to sit here and tell you differently. But yeah, the big three is not working like a big three right now. Austin Reeves, again, he's also getting a lot of flack as well because of the fact that he did not show up yesterday as well, and it was just disappointing. And Luka Doncic as well, he also was getting some flack because even though he did play for the most part pretty good defense for him, actually really good defense for him for the most part, offensively, it just was not happening. Offensively, as a whole, it was just not happening for the Lakers. And a lot of things are coming into question. The roster buildup, the makeup of the team, JJ and his coaching, and not being able to find plays that will work against those top teams. So yeah, a lot of finger pointing is out there. I've seen, it's funny because when we lose, and especially lose to a team like the Celtics, or a team in that upper echelon, those fingers get pointed, and deservedly so. You guys have every right to go ahead and voice your opinions. And deservedly so every time out. But yes, those fingers do get pointed more often when the Lakers are losing games like these in high profile games against upper echelon teams like this. So, yeah, I just wanted to bring it to your attention. Very disappointing record against top teams, which means they're beating the teams that they're supposed to beat. But when it comes to a team that is at their level or higher, it's not been good. And they're usually getting beaten by double digits, which, as you see on the scoring differential, that they're back in the negative. It's not a good sign indeed. But if you guys have thoughts on that, please put that below as far as why this team is just not meshing well as far as the top three is concerned. I know there's going to be a lot of LeBron flack, and you know what? It is what it is, and it's deserved in many cases. He is having the best season, like I've talked about, ever for a guy that's 41 years old, but he's 41 years old. And you see when he has bad days at $52.6 million, it's not good, and it is not worth that money. I mean, when he has those good days, it's great to see, but yeah, it's just you're not getting your money's worth right now with him. AR, or do you want to commit the big money to him? We'll talk about that again sometime down the line. But also as well, Luka Doncic. I mean, Luka Doncic, did he sign the extension too early? Should he have waited another year to see how this team was going to be built and developed? We'll wait and see if in due time if that was the right move. But if you have thoughts on the big three and their lack of success against big teams, please let me know in the comments below. Again, we've just been very hard on the defense, but on Sunday it was the offense that was an issue. So seemingly they just cannot put those quality four quarters against a quality team together so far, and that has to change because again in the playoffs you're not meeting against 500 teams where the Lakers are sitting in the standings indeed. But wanted to go ahead and talk about that. But something that irritated me, that irritated my good friend Mark, aka Xbox, aka Gasol man, Gasol boy, because he was on my post game on my other channel, and he deservedly, absolutely went on a rant. Everybody seemed to love it. I mean, a lot of people were talking about it. Very positive feedback on it because he was really pointing towards LeBron and really upset, not just as the performance, but the fact is that he sat, and he didn't sit in the locker room with the guys or didn't go over any game plans or game changes with. He actually watched the Pat Riley, I guess the in arena, I guess celebration for Pat Riley that took place at halftime. He also, after the game, was talking up a storm about Jaylen Brown, and Jaylen Brown. What he should have been talking about Jaylen Brown was all the offensive fouls with the push-offs he was getting and the fact that he was 10 of 28 and he needed Peyton Pritchard to have a really, really strong game in order to go ahead and bail the Celtics out. But although I do have to give them credit, again, like I talked about yesterday, they had the better effort and the better execution when it came on both sides of the ball. So they were the better team yesterday, as much as I hate to say it. But, why is LeBron talking up Jaylen Brown for MVP? That I think rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And I can't say I disagree with you. So if you have thoughts about that, I know some people already had some thoughts about that, about LeBron just doing some LeBron-like things. It just, again, that gets people really up in an uproar over that, and deservedly so. And a lot of people are just tired of it. I was talking to Pinty back and forth, corresponding with him from Germany, and I was saying right now, because he is very upset at LeBron, and I can't say I blame him. I can't say anybody who still loves LeBron, I'm more than happy for you. But if you're upset with LeBron, and this whole situation that's going on, I can't say I blame you either. I see, as someone who hosts two channels, I see all the feedback LeBron gets. And right now it is, 60-40, I think, closing in on 70-30, the people who actually want LeBron not to be on this team next year and next season under any price, under any circumstances. I'm just going to leave it at that. Which side of the debate are you on? I know which side Pinty's on, but which side of the debate are you on? Do you want LeBron to come back for the veterans minimum, for the mid-level for any price. Do you want him to come back at all? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that because again, it is rising. I think the a lot of the hardcore LA fans are having their fill of LeBron James, and it sounds like little by little LeBron James is having their fill of us too. So we will go ahead and see what happens. But if you have thoughts on LeBron, please let me know right down below as well. Wanted to go ahead and mention that. And then yes, the Lakers and Magic are coming up later tonight, 7:30 p.m. Pacific, on the believe on the Lakers channel. So go ahead and catch it there. But wanted to go ahead and give a shout out to the game as far as I'm concerned because it is against a team. You look at them slightly above 500, but they did lose Franz Wagner in recent days. They won't be with him when they get into the lineup on Tuesday. What is the interesting thing about it that this is a bad road team. They are the worst road team of any of the 10 spots in the Eastern Conference. Of any of the top 10 in the Eastern Conference, they have by far and away the worst road record. So all signs are pointing, or you would think are pointing towards the Lakers getting back off the schneid and getting into the win column once again. Right now, as the injury report is listed as Jackson Hayes with his ankle, which was listed by JJ Redick at practice, was a bruise. I guess it's been bruised too much, so he is doubtful at this point in time. And I'm at this point, just when you list him as doubtful, it looks like it's probably not going to be working out for that. I guess that means that we're not having Jackson Hayes for Tuesday night, but if there's any changes, I will tweet that out on my regular profile on Twitter, so just to let you guys know. But if that's the case, we still have to go at it. We're still got the big three there and the rest of the team, and they should get a W tonight against the Magic, against a really bad road team, comparatively speaking, in the Eastern Conference. And we'll have that breakdown for you coming up on Wednesday's Lakers latest. So I'm looking forward to giving you the 411 on that, and also as well any thoughts that you might have leaving down below on today's show. But before we head out, I wanted to go ahead and mention some comments. You guys provide a ton of comments, and I am just so appreciative of it. And it's great because it allows me to see that there's interaction with this channel, and I guess that's a good thing for YouTube when channel gets so many comments and that I can respond to and whatnot. So if you see me down below, I try to list my name to it. There are lots of my regulars from my other channel that pop in as well, so they know me already. But if you don't know who I am based off my YouTube profile, I did try to list it right next to it. So there you go. But I wanted to go ahead and mention first off, Craig, great part of what we're doing here, and also my other channel as well. Craig said defense for the Lakers was very good yesterday. Again, like I said, 111. When you're giving up 111 and 10 to 28 shooting for Jaylen Brown, the supposed high MVP candidate, he is an MVP candidate. Don't get me wrong, but according to LeBron, should be really strong MVP candidate. So if you said that 111 and 10 to 28, I'm going to take it. Just I didn't know that the offense would be would have been left somewhere else. Would have been left on the Riviera Golf Course, which was where they were at on Saturday. In between the Friday and Sunday games, they were at the Riviera Golf Course with Rob Pelinka as part of his Genius series of talks. Had a talk with Tiger Woods. I guess Tiger Woods addressed the team at the Riviera Golf Club on Saturday. And how'd that work out? But again, defense was for Lakers was very good yesterday. The refs were terrible. Yes, they were. Scott Foster is a bad referee. Goaltending, push-offs. Don't forget the basket interference as well. All three of those, they were a main complaint. I'm going to give a shout out to Lake Show Yo. He has on his Twitter a video synopsis of all the egregious calls that were not called by the refs, just to let you know. So I always give a good shout out to Lake Show Yoke on that. Role players are very inconsistent with open 3-point shots. Yes, that's the problem. And you think Hashimura and Kennard would get more opportunities to alleviate that, but that hasn't been the case so far. at least against what we saw on Sunday. Hayes is too injury prone. He's haven't been having issues with his feet, and big men with their feet, Craig. That's always an issue. Smart should be replaced when having a bad game. Yeah, he had a donut. He had a donut. I know that we talking yesterday how he should have been motivated. We had a commenter saying he was really should have been motivated to play hard and play well and execute well against Boston, but just didn't get it done. I still, if you told me, still think Laravia, but again, I'm not saying they just don't have a definitive fifth guy. And if it's Smart, that's fine. I know that Jovan Buha and others have been really high in putting Smart because of what he has brought defensively in the past. He's not as good a defender as he was years back, which is why he was let go or moved on by Boston. But he's still effective on the defensive end more than most Lakers. So if you want to keep him in there, I guess. But I just like Laravia and his effort and sometimes he makes heady plays that some other the role players don't do at times. So, and again, when he comes off the bench, sometimes he just gets lost and isn't anywhere near effective as he is when you could see he gets pumped when he starts. So maybe that's something you might want to consider down the road. But Smart should replace when having a bad game. Use some of those valuable buyout candidates. Yeah, only got $800,000 left, Craig. They can't do much. They should have made different choices. Kobe Buffkin on a 10-day and then evaluated the marketplace from there. I know that would have made Pinty very happy as well. Does Reeves ever have a great game with teams over 500? The answer is not really all that often, which is a shame. Lakers need a point guard, although I should say Memphis some years back in that playoffs. He was very effective there. Lakers need a point guard who makes assists instead of looking for his shot all the time. That's the criticism of those who don't like Luka being on this team. I know Nick T on my other channel, he's always barking about Luka, this, Luka. And you know what? Luka does take too many shots. He does not try to set up the offense as much as I think he should. And when he doesn't have that efficiency like he did on Friday. When he's hot like he's on Friday, that's a one thing. But when he's not, like you saw on Sunday, try to work the ball around for better shots and try to get more open shots for your guys. Because it seemed like all of those guys were not getting open shots because they just were not doing as good a job in the offense. And part of that is JJ as well, not creating good looks for their guys. Riley was a taskmaster. Yeah, that no one should question Riley as a head coach. He was just absolutely really good. Obviously took over for Jack McKinney, Paul Westhead after that, and then he came on and replaced Paul Westhead, who I really liked and still will love as a coach. But he came on and did even better than Westhead in the role. I know that the Magic Johnson Paul Westhead thing that's been a long standing thing. But yeah, absolutely. Pat Riley was great for the 80s. He had the look, the suit. Everybody still even says, I mean, that's the statue that went up was him in the suit, raising his fist high as far as another championship run for him. If not playing well, Lakers have to double practice time. Well, one thing that LeBron said in the Mind the Game podcast is he couldn't remember the last time that he had a practice, and that's a scary thing. That's life in the NBA, is where you just don't practice as much as you should. They had a practice leading into Friday, and we saw what happened then. He had the sore knee, and he didn't look good Friday, and he didn't look much better on Sunday as well. The statue was great looking, absolutely. Shaq is my favorite, followed by Chick Hearn, and great analysis, Gerald. Thank you so much, Craig. Yeah, Chick Hearn, one of the best at going, best at a simulcast. And then also, he really described the action well for those when they're listening on the radio. I think that's what his best attribute to me was. Shaq was great. I love Shaq. And again, Shaq, that statue is my favorite at right there at crypto.com arena. But Marion, I wanted to go ahead and get you in here as well. That $52 million for LeBron, at least $30 million is for the playoffs when he'll turn up. Didn't turn up last year as much as I liked to, but then some of that was JJ. Some of that was just age. Again, he's 41 years old. I don't know how much we can expect from a 41-year-old who's not consistent anymore, who's shooting some of the worst three-point percentages of his career at 30%. He's been he's been bad. He's been bad quite a bit more often than he has been good, and that's been disappointing to see for a guy who, again, like I said, is having the best season ever for a 41-year-old. But when the standard and the bar is not that set that high for 41 years old, it shows that even he is human, and we're seeing it before on these big stages. Just make sure whiny Luca shows up and takes the Lakers past Wimby and Joker. Um, I hope so, Marion. Luca, it's just who he is. He's never going to stop barking with the refs. He's never going to stop whining with the refs. He might actually, by the end of the year, get suspended because he might have too many T's. That's just who he is. You're not going to get him changing. It cost the Lakers yesterday a basket where Gonzalez scored an easy layup because Luca was still sitting on the ground. For every time I try to give him praise for, like yesterday when he actually played defense above and beyond the norm of what he normally does, he does things like that just make you scratch your head. There was also an inbound play where he just wasn't even guarding, wasn't even looking, doing something else, and the guy just went in for a layup and an easy layup off an inbound pass. Again, it's things like that disappoint me sometimes with Luca, and it's his shot selection and his choice of when he's making plays. He depends on himself too much, I think, at times, and again, that's something he'll have to address going forward if he really wants to get to that next level. If he really wants to understand what it's going to take to get a team to get the trophy, he's going to have to go ahead and become that player that I'm hoping he will become and develop into. Reeves just showed us he'll disappoint again in a big playoff game again and again and again. Marion, so far, I can't disagree. I mean, when he made his effort against the Denver Nuggets in that first round and really played hard defense and slowed down Jamal Murray quite a bit, he was terrible on offense. It's just with his ability, he has to commit to one side of the ball or other, in my opinion. And when he does, it affects the other side. So if he focuses on being a good offensive player, he doesn't play good in on defense in these big situations. And yesterday, he just wasn't effective as much on the other end, and he wasn't getting calls like he normally is used to because a lot of his game is about drawing fouls and just wasn't drawing enough of them, and you saw it affected his game from there because he's really not a defensive stopper most of the time, or not even close. Edie Bauman, how you doing? Great to have you here. Thanks again, new name for being here. Truly appreciate it. Let's put aside the refs, okay? Let's put aside the refs. My point is JJ Redick cannot use his players on rotation when needed. Yeah. I agree with you. Even when Jackson Hayes went out of the game, they still had alternatives. I think that they should have gone to, and they didn't. And I just don't like his rotations when they have a healthy roster and when they do not. I don't sometimes understand what he's doing or what he's thinking when he's out there, or the choice of plays, or sometimes when the other team goes on a 17-1 run, what he's doing at all. That Phil Jackson, let them play that itself out. I'm not a big fan of that. It works sometimes for Phil. It did not work some other times for Phil. But yeah, sometimes I just don't understand what JJ's doing out there. And a lot of it's inexperience because this is his first real coaching gig. And we're seeing that at times. But Edie says they first need some serious coach to be more competitive, someone who knows how and when to rotate their centers. The game, as many as before, goes on a wrong coaching. Again, that's something that they will have to take a strong look at. If they rebuild the roster, if they rebuild the front office, if they rebuild a lot of other things, then they might want to look at rebuilding the coach too. And I want to hear your thoughts on that below if you think that's the move. One of the many moves that they need to make as well. And Roger, certainly last but not least, by any stretch of the imagination, last but certainly not least, if I could say that right. Apologies, Roger. But last, certainly not least, I think we all need to come to grips that this roster was not constructed to win the championship. Rob is a disgrace to as a general manager. Been saying that for years on Rob, and leading into the season, you can see it. The fortunate thing for me is I can back up what I say is because on my other channel, I still have it posted in the notes section on YouTube, which is a great thing, by the way, for people that run their channels. They don't use it effectively enough. I have our entire panels, almost everybody outside of Joe, but over a dozen predictions for the season and where they line up as far as on the East and the West and who would eventually become the champion. And I just think that the Lakers are right around where I thought they would be at, and I don't see them getting much higher, and I don't see them doing that well in the playoffs. And because this is a team that has a lot of weaknesses, and I don't think this big three is big three enough to go ahead and put that all together. But we will wait and see. I'm hoping I am wrong. I don't mind being wrong if it means the Lakers winning a championship. I don't mind if I'm being wrong if the Lakers go a long way and exceed our expectations. That's what I want, is to exceed my expectations for this season, and I'm hoping that's going to be the case. But if you have thoughts, do you still have hope that the Lakers are going to win a championship? Please let me know down below. I would love to hear from you. I'd love to give you a shout out as well, because I do appreciate the time. You take the time to watch this. You take the time to go ahead and write down your comments. At least I could go ahead and respond to them when I can. And also go ahead, if it's really good, give you a shout out here on the next episode as well. So again, the Lakers and Magic coming up later tonight. Hopefully it will be a W. It should be a W because they're facing a lousy road team. Will that happen, though? We're going to have to find out. And I'll have the recap for you and more, as always, right here on Lakers Latest, part of the Fan Arc Network. Thanks so much, everyone, for watching, and have a great day.